You know, when I went to Judge Sipkin's court, I told him that the debt that Mazzarelli and Kramer had sent a judgment to my bank regarding was invalid, and that whoever brought the debt from Vegas, by the way, needed to make sure it was valid debt. The debt first stemmed from 2949 Sheridan, start there, where the housing market crash will now start dealing with Sharon through the state of Minnesota and its facilitator who bought that debt from, again, 2949 Sheridan. I was complaining that I had never been offered credit. And the reason they said I wasn't offered credit was because that I had a second mortgage on my home. When I got rid of the second mortgage, that is when I got the credit offer in Cooper. They assumed me and Michael Cooper was married based on being joint owners of the home. No single black people had brought a home in the fashion that Sharon Martin brokered the deal. Sharon Martin brokered the deal for 2949 Sheridan, making sure she was an owner. The only reason why Michael Cooper Sr. actually was head of house at that time was because he made more money than I did. He worked at Schoolway Bus Company, I worked at Rainbow. As I worked at Rainbow, I was on a union contract. As I was on a union contract, I believe we moved in, and I might have been making $12.85, I'm not sure. I was on a hiring freeze where I was only going to be making a nickel going forward because they were on a hiring freeze and they could not hire any more full-time people. But when me and Michael Cooper Sr. brought that house, we got a U.S. bank account. I did that as well. Michael Cooper Sr. would say, Sharon, I'm at work. You got my social security card, you got my information. I'll be there when it's time to sign. Do I have to sign anything? And I would either say yes or no. If he had to sign stuff, he would make it a point to make sure he had the time to sign these things. That credit card offer from Vegas, once they found out that, again, me and Michael Cooper was not married, they found out that my last name was not Cooper, they then rolled the debt over. They wrote it off. It was no longer valid debt. The person did not exist. I sent them a copy of my driver's license as well as my social security card and my information from my home that identified me as Sharon Martin. I never in my life used the name Cooper. So I don't know who out of Vegas, Creisha, Marcy, Bobby, Keith, at that time used Sharon Cooper to get that credit card. Because when me and the credit card company talked about it, they wrote it off. It wasn't on my credit anywhere, ever. Why? Because it wasn't valid debt. They could not prove that they owed, that I owed them money. So then they had to get rid of it. And I told Judge Sipkins that. And he said, well, he cannot, go after Mazzarelli and Kramer. He said there was no valid judgment in force, so then therefore I had nothing to worry about. But based on, again, his knowledge of Mazzarelli and Kramer, it would open the door to a class action lawsuit. Andrea Faulkner Andrews, Bobby Joe Champion, as well as Keith Ellison or anybody else, Dawn Samuels, that happened to be working with that girl at that time. That is why Judge Sipkins, Sipkins, and when he did that decision, I went behind him. I said that he violated my rights. Why? Because they went after me in a judgment. And since the bank didn't honor the judgment, Joshua R. Williams, Amy Jane Getz, Kim Ellison School Board, District Number 1, they said I had nothing to worry about. So be very clear when tampering with my name and assigning debt that I do not owe. I don't appreciate that. I will go after you. Why? Because it better be a valid debt. Right now, I can say I owed Kohl's, I owed Target, I owed Cap One. You put them three bills together, it was less than $700. Less than $700. If you take my Trailblazer with Car Hop, I don't even owe Car Hop at this point, do I? Would Car Hop like to discuss my Trailblazer with me under the ideology that you can locate Sharon L. 1398? By the way, where those records would be, where we could get the email that would discuss the Trailblazer and the, again, misrepresentation under consumer law, where I was promised something by a manager. That manager said that, again, my 4x4 would work, or they would return my car. They didn't want to do that. Me and Car Hop started to battle, although I paid that bill, correct, Car Hop, until it was ticket tagged and towed on 8/12/2014, by the way. Once it was ticket tagged and towed on 8/12/2014, again, Keith, Bobby, Don, Peter. Does anybody else want to discuss too much more with me? Because again, if you've got bad debt collectors on your side, and yeah, I like my reputation, Renee. I really do. I like being known as a fierce attorney. J.B. Hunt with the semi that, veered off into us, and the nice little guy said it was his fault, and then we settled that claim real nicely. Because see, I don't like to get evil unless I have to. And me and J.B. Hunt, Jackie Baker, in case you're on Bobby's team, Keith's team, and you're the woo who wanted to be a paralegal, who didn't know fucking law about attorneyism. Is that a word? Attorneyism. Oh, I should write that down. Attorneyism is when you're an attorney and you are, again, representing yourself, your family, or someone outside the circle. You are then acting in accordance with being an attorney, where you are now influencing other attorneys under attorneyism. Right? I gotta think about that. Like when I thought about attitude and attitudinal, because the extension of attitudinal, no, the extension of attitude was attitudinal. Yeah. When I get an attitude, you might be making me attitudinal, right? And that meant that all of a sudden now I got attitude, and I'm attitudinal, and that means I'm acting in accordance with being with an attitude. Did you get all that down? Joe Biden, Barack Obama. Who's running from who? You running from Congress again? Is Ilhan Omar that Congress? What about Bobby Joe Champion? Do I need a caddy waiver because y'all was slaves back in the day and y'all felt like they was, making us cook their food, wash their clothes and shit, so y'all want a caddy waiver now? Man, y'all better get the fuck out of your house. You know what? Send me the bill. For all the caddy waiver hours I didn't get under that bullshit somebody wrote. Well, y'all thought y'all needed to get a caddy waiver because y'all was a slave back in the day, and now y'all just felt like y'all was washing people's clothes and cooking their food as maids, right? You were going to white people's house, from 1974. You black people was going to white people's house, cleaning up their house, right, Libby Baker? You need a caddy waiver, Libby? If you buy your food out and somebody's always cooking it for you, and Libby, you get somebody to come and clean your house. Is that how we got a caddy waiver? Christian, you got a maid to come and clean the house? No, like Molly maids. Like, do you got Molly maids coming? Girl, don't even play with me, girl. Don't. Oh, the house, we can eat every day and we won't even do the dishes. We'll make sure they nice and stacked and stuff. We won't leave no food on them because we don't want no bugs and stuff. But we will make sure you got dishes and shit to wash. Because, I don't think we had no Molly maid. I ain't never had no Molly maid. No, I never had no Molly maid to come to my house, mop my floor, sweep my floor, wipe the tables down, and then do the laundry, and then put the laundry away, and then you had to go clean the kids' room. You had to clean my room. I never had no Molly maid that did that shit for me. Never. I used to pay people because I didn't like a dirty stove. You might burn something, spill something. When you put the pizza in there and it says don't use a pizza rack, it says put it on the oven rack, and then all that cheese drip down in the bottom of your oven. Some people just let that shit build up. And then every time they turn the oven on, they got a smoke smell, and then after a while, the smoke smell go away. But the oven be all fucked up. So then you gotta go in there with your drill. You ever see that Martin Lawrence where she went and did Wanda's feet? Girl, you got to work on Wanda's feet. Girl, if you don't know how to work on Wanda's feet, don't even touch Wanda's feet.